Hi, I'm Michael Smith for Nevada Trails. I have a very special show. I have Sandie La Nae. She's back again, and tell you what, when you left last time, I bought a book from you, St. Charles Hotel, and I read it. And one, there's a remarkable history. You're a historian.
Well, thank you.
Besides being a ghost hunter. But you went through the history first, so I felt like I had a comfortable zone of what the environment was. The Mueller House and St. Charles House, right across from, I guess, the
legislature.
So I kind of, you know the environment, and then you start going into things that happen to these people.
Yes.
And it was like riveting.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So I highly recommend getting the book from Sandie on the St. Charles Hotel because, one, you guys, it seems like you've been there many times to investigate it.
Yes, since 2005.
Yes. And then I like the one piece where the person who, I don't know if she was the manager or been there for a long time, but she said that there was another investigative group from Reno went there, and they left and never came back.
They never came back, yeah. That was the property manager there, Linda.
Property manager? Well, anyways, thank you for your education.
Oh, well, thank you. You're welcome. I like the praise for the book. Thank you.
Well, anyways, did they call you or to do this, or you just say, can I come and see your
No,
hotel?
I asked if I could write a book about that. I asked the property manager, Linda, and then I asked the owners of the building itself, and they said, yeah, that'd be great.
Well, it's awesome because to the very end of the book, you don't know that there was like Honky Tonk Man was filmed there, parts of it, and it changed one of the rooms. And I wonder how the ghosts feel about that. Wasn't that Phil's room?
No, that was Guy's room.
Oh, Guy,
and he liked it. Everybody liked it to know that his room was on TV.
Yeah. Well, I also said
or a movie.
that Monk was in there too.
Hank Monk stayed there.
And he's a relatively famous stagecoach
Yes,
driver.
he is.
So
yeah.
he really made the coast, the news coast to coast. So is there an actual museum there for him?
They took an original room because at one time in the St. Charles Hotel there was 206 original rooms in there, and they're like this big.
I know.
You had a cot and a desk, and that's it.
Like a small walk-in closet.
Exactly, that's all it is. And so they believe that's the one that Hank Monk stayed in, but it's a tribute to him anyway because he was there.
Well, I think that's awesome. So we have all this history, and then you kind of weave back into the personalities of the people that are still there.
Yes.
And you got Phil scared me. He said,
Phil is a mean man, and he's a mean ghost.
He pulled your hair.
Pulls your hair, and he just growls at you, and he just does all kinds of nasty little things to people. Yeah, he has EVPs in there, which are called electronic voice phenomenon.
Yeah.
And so he will speak through that on digital recorders, or if you have a video camera moving.
Well, one thing I thought was kind of funny with Phil was you said that he actually posed with you for a picture when
Yes,
you told
he
him
did.
to be good, and he was good.
Went into his room, and I said, Phil, you've got to be nice because people are coming here to see you, and there's a big orb right next to me.
Well, you said in the book you had dowsing rods. And you said one of the members of the group had dowsing rods spinning for 5 minutes above his head.
Yes.
He had them in his hand, they were just spinning.
They were spinning. We call that dancing. And usually dowsing rods, when you use them to communicate with the spirit, they'll cross to say yes, normally, or they'll swing back to say no. And sometimes that we have discovered that when the spirits are happy and they want to dance with you, they just keep spinning round and around and around and around over your
wow.
head. We've had that happen quite often.
Well, you could actually see these spirits sometimes.
Well, with my abilities, I can see them.
What do they look like when they're coming around?
They just look like they're standing there going twing, twing, twing. Yeah, so, yeah.
Those rapscallions.
Yeah.
Well, then you also mentioned something about an EMF device, electromagnetic field detectors.
Yes, the spirits have a lot of electromagnetic energies around them, and so we have this little device. It's called a ghost meter, and it's actually a Gauss meter, and it will detect the electric magnetic fields that are around you. If a ghost happens to be near you, it'll start beeping, and the meter will go up high.
Well, he had a mention of a young person who went with you, but when she got with you to the hotel, she mentioned that she wasn't a believer. So she thought this whole thing was a fake, and then she, after about a short period of time, decided to leave the group and go home.
Yes, because it's very interesting. We have been in several buildings, and St. Charles too, that if you go in there and you say, this place isn't haunted, there's no ghost, they will prove to you that, yes, we are here. And one did, and it scared her. I mean, she was terrified, and she said, I'm out of here.
Well, the ones that made me nervous was one, Phil.
Phil.
Because I've had a mean ghost push me before. And the second one was the guy who locks you in the room. That would make me unnerved.
That's a little strange.
You
Yeah.
know?
Steve was a man of, when he was alive, kind of simple-minded, and he loved to have company. And so when you do visit his room, he'll close the door and lock you in.
Well, he said that he was close to the manager's daughter, and he was would follow her to keep her safe.
He would keep her safe. This was a big man. He was very tall, very big, and his name was Steve. And he was, I guess, the protector and the guard of everybody that was there. He made sure everybody was doing okay.
How would you protect somebody that you really cared for that's living and you're a ghost?
Well, what he does, just like what you were saying, he follows Linda's daughter around, makes sure that she's okay. I'm sure that he makes lots of noises and scary noises if somebody's around her that he doesn't feel is that she's safe being around. The spirits will do all kinds of stuff to make sure that you're safe. And St. Charles Hotel, it's crazy.
Well,
crazy wonderful.
I lived in an old hotel as well, and mine seemed like they always turned the water on.
They can?
I never figured out what was the water communicating, that they're there or something, or that you're okay?
Water is a great conductor, kind of like a conduit for spirits. If you want to get really scientific, the electromagnetic fields, okay, with the spirits, they can change the meters. They live in the water.
Oh, wow.
So water is a real, strengthening or strong, I should say, a conduit for the ghosts to come from wherever the realm that they are at to come into a building. That's why you have, when you have your sinks, your drainage, your sewer, things like that, try and keep them covered up or close the door into a restroom, because that's just a very easy way for them to come into a house or building.
Well, that's wild. Yeah, because this was actually the hot water. And
Yeah.
it was like an old hotel where you had the sink in the room, in your bedroom.
Yes.
And the hot water was the only one that stayed on. I always felt bad for the landlord because the water was always running.
Well, I'm sure ghosts like more comfortable feeling water than cold. They might want to take a bath in warm water too. So.
Well, also in the book, the St. Charles Hotel, you had a lot of energy orbs and pictures. I wore my tie just
Did you have
to
it
show off
orb-tied?
my orbit-tie.
Yeah.
And I wore my druzy because he said that rocks choose you, and this one, and I also have some other rocks in my pocket.
Sure.
But the energy orbs are in a lot of pictures.
Yes, they are.
And
They
that's
are.
just a major, just kind of to show that they're with you and around you.
I just call them their energy orbs. It's kind of like their signature. It's just their energy orb, and they show up. There's a lot of times I will say, "Hey, take your picture with me," and then they'll just be like this, I don't know, aura around me full of ghosts and stuff. It's fun.
Well, sometimes you had reflections in like a TV of a figure. So
Yes.
it could be an orb with you, but also a reflection of something of a figure.
Yes, I don't know what to say to that, but outside of and that's scary. You know, when you're taking a picture of a TV, do it in your own home. I'm sure you'll find things.
Oh.
But you're taking a picture and you know that it's not your reflection, because if the TV's here, you're standing here, it wouldn't reflect you. And so it's kind of wonderfully creepy to, especially in the St. Charles Hotel, go in there, and because each room has their own TV, and all of a sudden you see these dark images standing there. And then all of a sudden you take another picture and there's an orb right there too. It's like, oh, who's here?
One thing I didn't understand, the explanation of sometimes it was a streak of light. Is that more positive? You act like when you're writing it was more positive to have a streak than an orb? Or did I misread that?
Well, I could say, it's more positive. I think that's just when they're moving. They call that a vortex energy.
Okay.
And I believe that's just when they're moving around the fastest.
Oh, okay.
That's why when you take pictures with a digital camera, we always tell people to take 3, 4, 5 pictures at the same place, because in one you might have the orb, and then the other 4 you won't have any orbs except just the scenery that you're taking a picture of, because they move that fast.
Well, that's beautiful. Well, we looked at Hank Monk was there. Mark Twain had stayed there.
Mark Twain's every bit.
And the Fighting Irish Pat Duncan. So, and then they had Hunky Tonk Man there. So I was like riveted for the whole book. Then today you're launching the Dake House.
Dake House book,
And that's coming out now, right?
Yes, I had it published in February.
And it's the Victorian past and haunted present of the Dake House, and it's a house in Genoa.
Yes, it is. It's the first and only undertaker's house of Genoa, Nevada.
I was just at Wally's Hot Springs, and I was spending some time in Genoa. And I always pay attention to these houses. There's some kind of attraction. Is that what attracted you to the house too? something attracted you to this house?
Yes, it did, and plus she used to have, the owner of the house used to have Renaissance fairs, and I used to give readings there too.
Awesome. I used to walk, back in my younger days, walk in Coloma from a campground to a bar, restaurant I used to clean. And they used to store the bodies in this ice house because the ground was too hard to bury them during the cold part of the year. And there was always something moving, metal signs on the outside, let me know they were there. They weren't scary, they just let me know they were there.
Right.
It was like, hey, there he goes to work. You know, it was really kind of funny. But there's a lot of people walking around in that area from, I don't know, maybe the gold mining days, but this is a beautiful place, too.
It is, and it's called Antiques Plus now, and wonderful antiques are in there, too.
So you can go there, and are you going to have a future book signing there so people can check out the house and your book at the same time?
Yes, on May 15th, we're going to have another book signing there, and we are also having a spirit tour there on May 10th.
Awesome. Well, I hope we can attend one of these things, because if this book is as riveting as the St. Charles House, I won't put it down.
Oh, well, thank you.
I read it from cover to cover, and I thought, well, I'll just read 30 pages, and I'll get it tomorrow. No.
I had to read the whole thing.
Well, when you write, do you try to get people to know the character before you kind of... Because you even have pictures of the people at the end of the book.
Yes, I do.
So, Phil, I was already stressed about him, and then all of a sudden you show a picture of him, and you're like, that's the guy.
Yeah, he's just as mean looking as his spirit is, too.
Well, this is just awesome history. One, it's history. Two, it's reality. And three, you put it to life. So
thank you.
Yeah, it's just
That's nice.
I can't wait to go to the St. Charles House.
We'll have to have you there
hotel.
and give you a ghost tour.
Yeah. Okay, and is that something you can do?
I can do that, Have a ghost hunt there just with, everybody here.
Or family and friends? Well, we're going to take a short break, and we come back, we're going to talk more about the Dake House and more of the other exciting things that you do.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be back. Thank you.
On the third floor in room 210, we discovered a cranky old spirit lady that was sitting on the edge of her bed. She didn't like us being in her room, and when we left the room, she rumpled up the bedspread. We discovered that when we went back into the room to look again.
It's because you were talking about her. Come look.
What, room 310?
310. It's because you were talking about her.
No way!
Every time you talk about her.
Every time I talk about it, oh my
Every
gosh.
time you mention that bedspread being messed up, she'll do it again.
Isn't that incredible?
Because you watched me fix it.
Yes, you fixed it, and we've been gone, 3-4 minutes? And it's all messed up again. Isn't that incredible? I want to get a closer up picture.
Your battery's dying. She doesn't like... He's killing your battery.
I know everything is being... Wow. Isn't that cool? Well, thank you, lady. I don't know what... Oh, I just got shivers. I don't know what your name is, but thank you. Oh, she just said, now get the hell out. Okay, we will. Wow, yeah, we will. Thank you so much for showing us that you're here. Isn't that interesting, though? You can see the both where her handprints just lifted those up. I'll be darned. Oh, I got shivers. I got shivers. All right, we're leaving. We're leaving. Oh, I just felt like she pushed my shoulder back a little bit. One more picture of that. Thank you. I know you don't like
Surprised
us,
the
but
bed's
thank
not,
you.
or the sheet's not all the way off.
Wow, that is interesting. Wow.
Give me your camera. Which one? Give me your camera. You have to come up through and do your camera. Really? I couldn't figure out what was wrong with the bathroom. Oh, yeah.
The lady had done it again. We were out of the room for about 2 minutes, and when it was looked in again, it was discovered that the bedspread was even pulled up higher in bigger mounds than the first time.
Hi, we're back from break with Sandie La Nae, the psychic, and you are awesome. We had an outdoor fair that we went to, and you were just controlled the situation, and our cameraman was actually out there playing and singing his songs.
Yes, he
so
was.
you gave him his first public appearance. That was awesome. And I thank you for doing that, because that was just very special.
He was great.
I was checking out your website, and I was looking at all the books you've done. You've done a lot of books. And you had, besides the one we just covered, the Dake House, that's a new book, you had the Victorian, no, that's the same book, the Victorian theme of Genoa's first Undertaker.
I know, that was great. He's still there. He's so cool.
All right. Then you had the Sandie Psychic Stones, 50 stones for, is it divination?
Divination.
And spiritual awareness and healing. Then you had Silver Ghosts.
Silver Ghost.
And then you had St. Charles Hotel we talked about, the Ghost Hunter's Guide, and then you had Thin Veil Investigations, and then Spiritual Sightings, and then all these other ones have a lot of small stories, I think.
Spirit Sightings is a compilation of all kinds of people's experiences with ghosts and spirits, all in one book.
Well, the ones that, when you're reading the St. Charles story, you have a little bit of somebody who's not just a layman or somebody who spent time in the room. So it wasn't your opinion. It was somebody who, I guess they filled out a customer card or something and just said, I'm not coming back to that room.
Right. I like to have, I call them personal presentations of people that have been in, at the St. Charles Hotel, and they have left comments with the owner or with the property manager saying this scared me or this happened or whatever, because it's confirmation of some of the things that we've seen in a particular room.
Well, I remember the one story on that St. Charles Hotel where somebody was pacing in the hallway, and then the pacing turned into an argument. So the guy opened the doors to shut up, but there was nobody there.
Nobody was there.
And then when you did the investigation, you used that person's notes to say that person will still have the same habits. So you could.
And he didn't last long. I think he stayed there about 2 months and then he moved out. It scared him just way too bad.
Yeah.
Because it happened 3 times at 4 o'clock in the morning. Always at 4 o'clock in the morning. He would hear the pacing and then the arguing, open up his door and nobody would be there.
Now, is that because you have more psychic energy at night, if you're a ghost, to be moving around more than you do in the daytime with all our earthly energy
Yeah, because the earth is quiet then. People are sleeping. There's, not that much traffic. And I heard, decades ago, that the best time to go ghost hunting is in between midnight and 4 in the morning. Why? I don't know. I guess that's just the most quietest time of the day. The earth is quiet. The birds haven't started chirping yet, and automobiles aren't driving yet. So. Well,
I tell you, you're just bringing back so many good haunting memories. But also at your psychic stones, it was at www. Sandie's Psychic Stones to look at the website.
Yes, it is.
Is that correct? Well, you said a little intro to yourself was blessed at birth to foresee the future. Wow. I have described my own initiative visionary method using a unique reading element stones.
Stones,
How did you choose stones to be your way of doing it? Because didn't you say you had 170 stones or something?
Right now I have 117. I started out with 33. I used to read tarot cards a long time ago and everybody reads them, so it's I had to do something different. Well, I found this book ages ago called Crystals and Fortune Telling or something like that. So I thought, okay, I'll read the book, and I just did not like anything about it. And so with some of the information that the author had in the book, I just devised my own. And I have 117 stones, and there's a couple of earth elements thrown in there. And I programmed each stone to mean and represent something. And so now what I do is I use that actually as my living. I give intuitive readings using these stones, and the client will come up and they will choose X amount of stones for mini reading or full reading, and they lay them down in a particular pattern in front of them, and then that gives me a guideline on what to tell them. Okay, I listen to their spirit guides and I give them information on future events, or I help them with present day circumstances going on.
Wow, that is wild. Yeah. This is just really silly, but I always get these little glimpses of light. I'm they're just talking to you. I saw one. Does that mean I'm being watched by one of my relatives or something? I always thought it meant that I was being watched by somebody.
I think so.
I just got one. I thought, well, that's kind of a coincidence. I'm talking to a psychic. Whoa. I just got one of those.
It's haunted in here anyway.
I know. And then you said I'm a spiritual sensitive. I see, sense, hear, or feel the spirits.
Yes,
Ooh.
I know. You know what? That is so much fun. I just call myself a spirit sensitive. One of my abilities is that I see people that have crossed over. And so a lot of my clientele too, they'll get an intuitive reading with the stones, and or they'll come in for a sensitive reading. They want to know if their husband, wife, grandparents, children, someone, a loved one that has crossed over, how they're doing. And it's really interesting because the person that they're wanting to contact, they give me what I call a key word or a key vision. That they will give me a vision, or I will hear something that my client will know who that is. For an example, I had a lady that came in and was looking for a grandmother. All of a sudden, I had this vision of a baby grand piano. And so I told her, I said, I know you're looking for a person, but all I'm seeing is a baby grand piano. Well, the woman kind of started tearing up, and she said my grandmother was a concert pianist.
Oh, I thought she'd say kibble.
Yeah, oh! So then we could... So then we just conducted a communication session, and that way the woman, my client, knew that that was actually her grandmother.
Awesome.
Because other people want to come in too. You know, Uncle George wants to talk about his cigars, or
Oh, he's like next.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Like you have relatives, like my grandpa. I think I would imagine if I think about him, I'll bring back things like Old Spice.
Sure.
And then if I was talking to you about him, or whatever, you might be able to say Old Spice is the clue that we're really in tune with them. So that's just awesome stuff. And then you said you've done all these books, but also don't you have like, besides tours, you have like a training session for people who want to become thin veil investigators? Don't you have like a class on Sunday?
Yes, actually, we have a class, and it's called Back to Basics in Paranormal Investigations 101. And what that is actually, it's just old school ghost hunting. So many people now think that, the first time that they see a ghost hunting on TV, they're a ghost hunter, and that's just not it. People, and I'm not putting anybody down, but we've just noticed a trend that the spirits are not being respected. The spirits and ghosts are actually being forgotten in ghost hunt. And so it's very important that you have protection, okay, with stones or whatever, that you would like to take with you to stay protected. How to communicate with the spirits. People have forgotten how to communicate with them, and that's why you're there.
Well, that's a great class. I saw it was about 6 hours on Sunday, so that's something I'm going to do in the future.
Oh, they're fun. You'll love it. We have a good time.
Well, it sounds great because I think a lot of it, if you can really relax your mind and take some of that fear out of your brain and open up to the possibility of it being reality, you can really take some leaps forward that you probably wouldn't know you had already.
Oh, you can. Use your intuition and your interests. That's what's most important. Digital cameras and video, that's all fine and well and dandy, but they didn't use digital cameras thousands of years ago. No. And there's documentation of ghost hunts. Oh, Pliny the Elder, and Mesopotamians. We're talking thousands of years ago. They went ghost hunting too. And they use simple methods and simple means, and that's what we teach too.
Awesome. So that sounds like a lot of fun. And
it is.
So are you also, besides the Dake House, did you already have another book in the works?
I have lots of books in the work, actually. Right now, what I'm trying to do is finish up a book of St. Mary's Hospital and Art Center. It's up in Virginia City.
I was going to say that's a pretty famous place.
Yes, it is.
And I used to be a St. Mary's Hospice volunteer, so that kind of like struck me shocked me for said St. Mary's. But is that owned by the state? Do they give you permission to go into this place, or is it still?
Well, there again, the property managers, they've let us come in and investigate there too since 2005.
Okay.
And we have had events there. The Fourth Ward School, actually have to go through the Fourth Ward School to have events at the St. Mary's Hospital. And so in 2009, we made an event from their Parties of the Year, it's called. And we had an overnight stay that had dinner and breakfast.
Oh, wow.
And we set up, surveillance cameras all over. We got incredible footage of spirits walking around. Incredible.
Well, isn't did you say the Fourth Ward?
The Fourth Ward School handles all of the
Isn't it
events.
like just a museum that has like the old, where they have the old inkwells and stuff like that from the old days? I haven't seen the place, but I remember someone talking about it. It's a great museum to see.
It is a great,
So they're in charge of, now I'm starting to get the picture of the whole going there. So that's exciting.
Yeah, they just, like I said, have administrative type of duties that they take care of St. Mary's. So that book's in the work. I have quite a few others too.
Well, do people get ask you to do books, or you just kind of use your your own historic.
Yes, yeah. I've been doing an awful lot of research on different. The Sisters of Charity were the nurses there, so I've been doing research on them, and then what I've learned just through the years being there and listening to what the property managers have to say too.
Well, I'd like to collaborate on a few other ideas. We'll talk when we have more time. We're down to about a minute and a half. Could you give out your contact information so people can come and...
Oh, I sure will. It's www.sandiespsychicstones.com.
And
And
can you
it's
order-
Sandies. I have to be different.
Can you order the books on that?
Yes, you can. Mhm.
'Cause,
And I'm also on Kindle. If you go on Amazon Kindle and write my name, Sandie La Nae, and then all my books, not all of them, but most of them are up on Kindle.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I saw in the book it was like LANAE space.
yes, a space, uh-huh.
Because I think we had it combined. We made a mistake in ours.
Well, that's okay. You'll get to it.
Okay, because your projects are very good. And in your book, this is kind of cute. You had little trivia pieces that came out. I was like picking up stuff, and you had another piece of history just because you really liked Louise Carolyn Tuffley. That was a great story about her. So definitely go get the St. Charles Hotel, the Wild West, or the Wild West past. And because if you want to know history, one, this is a good person to do, and two, then you just elevate to a whole new level. So anyways, thank you for being
Well,
on
thank
Nevada
you.
Trails. I look
This has
forward
been
to
fun.
having you come back, and we'll
Thank
talk
you.
again.
Okay.
Mr. Michael Smith for Nevada Trails. Check out our work and check out history. It's great for you.